We are at Democracy Forum where we've just had a discussion on the impact of military in various countries on democracy, and I'm with Ayesha Siddiqua, who's written a book just about that, Inside Pakistan's Military Economy. And can I please ask you about the book and also the question along with it, Ayesha ji, as to why military has such an hold on Pakistan, and thank you for talking to us.
Well, Democracy Forum, I was discussing Egypt and Pakistan. But, since you specifically asked about Pakistan, I mean, historically, Pakistan's political institutions have been weak, and military, that created a space where military could come in. And it came very early on. And there are numerous explanations, and one of the explanations which has been given by Dr. Ayesha Jalal, Pakistan historian, that it was with American assistance that Pakistani military developed organizationally. And then organizationally it became so strong that the first coup in 1958 by General Ayub Khan was actually planned by, a representative of the civilian bureaucracy. And yet it was the military which took on and took control of the country. Then onwards, there has been no looking back, and military has become, over the years, has become very powerful because as it strengthened, it has crowded out other institutions. Political parties are weak, the political system is weak, it doesn't push back, it doesn't get the time to push back. There are flaws in different institutions, which is the reason why, and it has hold over the economy. And now my argument is that it's now a societal actor as well. So it's a strong, very strong institution.
So you said Pakistan's military economy. Would you explain that? And as you said here as well, that it has control on economy. Does that mean it has control on the entire infrastructure, including the media?
See, what I meant by it is that this is a particular kind of economy, military economy. It's military in business. So military has expanded itself into, all three major segments of the economy: agriculture, manufacturing, services, and even has interest in mining. Now, with that kind of an outreach, and this is part of the economy, which is said, which was initially built to contribute in the country's development, and it's claimed that it's for the welfare of military personnel. But in reality, the impact it has is actually it expands military's influence in all sectors. And this is the economy that I was writing about. It's not accountable, and what is important to understand is that military in business, wherever it happens, it has this illegality that it's unaccountable, even if it's done in the United States in the name of private security. It's still not that accountable. And the same goes. So you can multiply by tenfold in case of Pakistan, because military business ventures are presented as private sector, and therefore they're not exposed to the accountability which public funds should. But there is a very fuzzy line between public and private sector, and this is what I wrote about in my book.
In your book.
The second edition, what I've talked about is how it's also expanded, the military's expanded its influence over the media. And I think that's something which is very worrying.
And that's breaking, in fact, taking it to another level of breaking point, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because media was, even under General Musharraf, when media expansion started, there were people would talk about, the people were critical of the military, people could discuss foreign, relations, security policy, etc. Now that alternative voice is missing. And one of the reasons why is because media has expanded its control over, military has expanded its control over the media. It now runs private radio channels. It's one of the largest one of the largest radio channels in the country. it's invested in the film industry, it's invested in theatre. So with that kind of an expansion, the civil society does not then remain that independent.
Where do you see democracy existing or surviving, and to what extent in this scenario in Pakistan, and the impact on it, on the development of Pakistan, of progress?
You know, in Pakistan, the military, I mean, unfortunately now when we thought that we had crossed a bridge and that not every elected government was sacked by the military, but they were, pushed out through vote, that, we turned a corner. But it seems that no, there's much more. I mean, with the way through collusion between non-parliamentary forces, and I would include judiciary as well, the way the elections of the upper house, the Senate, have been manipulated, the pressures that have been exerted on one party alone, that shows what the interest is. However, I would say that I think democracy or an electoral process or people selecting, making choices is a very dynamic process. And Pakistan, like any other normal society, needs its voices. It needs the democratic process to thrive and flourish. As you see that now, you have the Pashtun Long March, younger people, youth from Pashtun areas are protesting. There are other voices as well.
So there's hope, you see.
Naturally, I think at some point what we need is a good leadership which can connect all these movements. So Pakistan can return to becoming a normal democracy.
Brilliant. Last one now. Tell me, how much difficulty has this book put you in with Pakistan?
Well, every time, the first time I wrote this book and it came out, published, was 2007. I had to leave the country for 20 days. When its second edition came out, I had to leave the country for 15 months. And it's not pleasant. Being in exile, being away from home. I'm still a Pakistani citizen. The only travel document that I hold is a Pakistani passport. I want to be able to freely go back and forth, travel, be in Pakistan with family. So this has caused me a lot of pain. I wish that the generals at the top and military there understands that it's purely an academic exercise. It's not a conspiracy, it's not a propaganda material. It's based on assessment of military's economic interests that are visible on the streets of Pakistan.
And thank you. I wish you very, very best for this book. And this book, Military Inc. Inside Pakistan's Military Economy, second edition from Ayesha Siddiqua, can be bought on Amazon and everywhere. And thank you very much.